NEC Section 810.22 concerning lightning protection system components specifically addresses the proper mounting of air terminals. Air terminals, which include lightning rods, are required to be mounted on structures in a manner that ensures a substantially continuous path to ground. This requirement is fundamental to the purpose of a lightning protection system, which is to provide a safe and effective channel for lightning energy to reach the earth, thereby minimizing the risk of damage to the structure and its contents, as well as injury to occupants. The principle behind this code requirement is rooted in the physics of lightning. Lightning seeks the path of least resistance to ground. When lightning rods are strategically placed at the highest points of a structure, they become the preferred termination points for lightning strikes. These rods are then connected to a grounding system typically consisting of heavy gauge conductors that route the lightning current safely into the earth. If the path to ground is obstructed or compromised, the lightning may choose an alternate, less predictable route, potentially passing through building materials, electrical systems, or other conductive elements. This can result in severe damage due to the intense heat and electromagnetic forces associated with lightning strikes. In this scenario, while lightning rods are placed on top of air conditioning units, several issues arise that violate NEC Section 810.22. Firstly, air conditioning units are generally not the highest points on a building. Other structures, such as parapet walls, antennas, or elevator penthouses, may extend higher. Placing lightning rods on /C units, therefore, fails to capitalize on the optimal placement for attracting lightning strikes. Secondly, the path from the lightning rod to ground is often not substantially continuous when /C units are involved. The units themselves may be mounted on vibration isolators or other non-conductive materials that interrupt the direct path. Even if the units are grounded, the grounding connection may not be robust enough to handle the immense current associated with a lightning strike. Thirdly, the /C units themselves can become points of vulnerability. If lightning strikes a rod mounted on an /C unit, the current may travel through the unit's internal components, causing damage or creating a fire hazard. The correct installation of lightning rods involves a comprehensive approach that considers the specific characteristics of the building and its surroundings. The first step is to conduct a thorough assessment of the structure to identify the highest points and potential strike zones. Lightning rods should then be strategically placed at these locations to provide maximum protection. The rods must be securely mounted to withstand wind and other environmental factors. The grounding system is just as important as the air terminals. It should consist of conductors that are sized appropriately to handle the anticipated lightning current. NEC Section 250 provides guidance on the proper sizing and installation of grounding conductors. The conductors should be routed directly to ground electrodes, which are typically ground rods or ground plates buried in the earth. The number and placement of ground electrodes should be determined based on the soil conditions and the size of the building. All connections in a lightning protection system must be made with approved fittings and methods to ensure a reliable electrical connection. Welding, brazing, or mechanical connectors are commonly used. The connections should be protected from corrosion to maintain their integrity over time. It is also important to bond all metallic objects on the roof or within the building to the lightning protection system. This includes items such as metal piping, ductwork, and electrical conduits. Bonding helps to equalize the potential between these objects and the lightning protection system, reducing the risk of side flashes and other hazards. In the specific case of a building with refrigerated air units, the lightning rod should be mounted on masts or other structures that extend above the /C units. The mast should be securely attached to the building structure and grounded according to NEC requirements. The height of the mast should be sufficient to ensure that the lightning rods are the highest points on the roof. It is also important to consider the proximity of the /C units to other structures on the roof. If the units are located close to parapet walls or other high points, additional lightning rods may be needed to provide adequate protection. The design and installation of a lightning protection system should be performed by qualified professionals who are experienced in this field. They will be familiar with the NEC requirements and other relevant standards, such as those published by the Lightning Protection Institute. A properly designed and installed lightning protection system can significantly reduce the risk of damage and injury from lightning strikes. It is an investment that can protect a building and its occupants for many years to come. In summary, the placement of lightning rods on top of air conditioning units is a violation of NEC Section 810.22 because it does not provide a substantially continuous path to ground and does not ensure that the rods are located at the highest points of the structure. The correct installation involves mounting the rods on masts or other structures that extend above the A/C units and grounding the system according to NEC requirements. Always consult with qualified professionals to ensure that the lightning protection system is properly designed and installed. The NEC, or National Electrical Code, provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical installations, including lightning protection systems. Adherence to the NEC is essential for ensuring the safety of buildings and occupants. NEC Section 810 specifically addresses radio and television equipment, which includes requirements for lightning protection. While the section's title might seem limited, its provisions extend to all types of electrical systems and structures that are susceptible to lightning strikes. NEC Section 810.22, as previously mentioned, focuses on the components of a lightning protection system, with a particular emphasis on air terminals. Air terminals, commonly known as lightning rods, are the primary elements that intercept lightning strikes. Their proper placement and installation are crucial for the effectiveness of the entire system. The code mandates that air terminals be mounted in a manner that provides a substantially continuous path to ground. This requirement is not merely a suggestion but a fundamental principle of lightning protection. The intent is to create a direct and unimpeded route for lightning current to flow safely into the earth, minimizing the risk of damage or injury. When lightning rods are placed on top of air conditioning units, this requirement is often compromised. Air conditioning units are typically not the highest points of a building, and their mounting structures may not provide a reliable path to ground. As a result, lightning may bypass the intended path and seek alternative routes, potentially causing damage to the building's electrical systems, structural components, or even posing a threat to occupants. To comply with NEC Section 810.22, lightning rods should be installed at the highest points of a structure, such as peaks, ridges, or corners. They should be securely mounted and connected to a grounding system that meets the requirements of NEC Section 250, which covers grounding and bonding. The grounding system should consist of conductors of adequate size and ampacity to safely carry the lightning current. These conductors should be connected to ground electrodes, such as ground rods or ground plates, that are buried in the earth. The number and placement of ground electrodes should be determined based on the soil conditions and the size of the building. In addition to the air terminals and grounding system, other components of a lightning protection system include bonding conductors and surge protection devices. Bonding conductors are used to connect metallic objects on the roof or within the building to the lightning protection system. This helps to equalize the potential between these objects and the lightning protection system, reducing the risk of side flashes or other hazardous conditions. Surge protection devices are installed in electrical panels to protect sensitive electronic equipment from voltage surges caused by lightning strikes. These devices divert excess voltage to ground, preventing damage to equipment such as computers, televisions, and other electronic devices. The design and installation of a lightning protection system should be performed by qualified professionals who are experienced in this field. They will be familiar with the NEC requirements and other relevant standards, such as those published by the Lightning Protection Institute. A properly designed and installed lightning protection system can provide significant protection against lightning strikes. It is an investment that can protect a building and its occupants for many years to come. Therefore, when considering lightning protection for a building, it is essential to consult with qualified professionals and adhere to the requirements of the NEC. This will ensure that the system is properly designed, installed, and maintained, providing the best possible protection against the hazards of lightning strikes. Remember that lightning protection is not a one-size-fits-all solution. The specific requirements for each building will vary depending on its size, shape, location, and the types of equipment it contains. A thorough assessment of the building and its surroundings is necessary to determine the appropriate level of protection. In conclusion, the placement of lightning rods on top of air conditioning units is generally not in compliance with NEC Section 810.22. The code requires that air terminals be mounted in a manner that provides a substantially continuous path to ground and that they be located at the highest points of the structure. To ensure compliance with the NEC and to provide adequate lightning protection, it is essential to consult with qualified professionals and to follow their recommendations for the design and installation of a lightning protection system. By doing so, you can protect your building and its occupants from the potentially devastating effects of lightning strikes. When a building undergoes renovations or modifications, it is important to review the existing lightning protection system to ensure that it still meets the requirements of the NEC. If the renovations have altered the height or shape of the building, or if new equipment has been added to the roof, the lightning protection system may need to be upgraded or modified. The removal of evaporative coolers and the installation of refrigerated air units can have an impact on the lightning protection system. Evaporative coolers are typically located on the roof, and their removal may leave gaps in the lightning protection coverage. Refrigerated air units are also typically located on the roof, and their presence may create new strike zones that need to be protected. In the scenario described, the existing lightning rods were removed and replaced on top of the newer /C units. As previously discussed, this is generally not in compliance with NEC Section 810.22. The correct approach would be to install masts or other structures that extend above the /C units and to mount the lightning rods on these masts. The mast should be securely attached to the building structure and grounded according to NEC requirements. In addition to the placement of lightning rods, it is also important to consider the bonding of the /C units to the lightning protection system. The /C unit should be bonded to the system to equalize the potential between the units and the lightning protection system, reducing the risk of side flashes or other hazardous conditions. The bonding conductors should be sized appropriately to handle the anticipated lightning current. It is also important to ensure that the grounding system is adequate to handle the increased load imposed by the /C units. If the grounding system is not sufficient, it may need to be upgraded to meet the requirements of the NEC. The installation of a lightning protection system is a complex and specialized task that should be performed by qualified professionals. These professionals will have the knowledge and experience to properly design and install a system that meets the specific needs of the building and complies with the requirements of the NEC. They will also be able to provide ongoing maintenance and inspection services to ensure that the system remains in good working order. In conclusion, the removal of evaporative coolers and the installation of refrigerated air units can have an impact on the lightning protection system of a building. It is important to review the existing system to ensure that it still meets the requirements of the NEC and to make any necessary upgrades or modifications. The placement of lightning rods on top of a /C unit is generally not in compliance with NEC Section 810.22, and the correct approach is to install masts or other structures that extend above the /C units and to mount the lightning rods on these masts. Always consult with qualified professionals to ensure that the lightning protection system is properly designed, installed, and maintained.